I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like trees are greener, the sun is shining brighter, birds are chirping louder, and the air is fresher than usual. Welcome to this edition of the Art Bulletin. We're coming to you from the Sands in Sandton, Johannesburg, and I'm Tumi Sedumedi. South Africa's Nontsuma is one of 5 photographers from all over the world to exhibit their work at the Gulf Photo Plus in Dubai later this month. The Northwest-born lenswoman will exhibit her series called Generation of Change.
Nontuma's Generation of Change is a tribute to the youth that have shaped the future of South Africa through their achievements post-apartheid. Ntuma has photographed a vibrant black youth culture that has emerged, a story of youth in South Africa that very rarely gets to be told. Ntuma will exhibit her work alongside inspiring work by photographers from Asia, Latin America and the Middle East at the Gulf Photo Plus in collaboration with the Majority World Photography Agency. Officials say Majority World encourages stories to be told by photographers in their own context, showing unique insight into local cultures, environments and development issues.
Posting Presence. That's the 2013 Sasol New Signatures Art Competition winner Dot Vermeulen's first solo exhibition since winning the competition. The competition opened at the Pretoria Art Museum on Thursday and is on until the 19th of October.
Posting is something that I am constantly doing in different places, different spaces, on canvases, on screens, in the kind of space that's depicted here, kind of urban street space. And art to me is a kind of a conversation. So what's happening in this exhibition is that I'm having conversations and I'm looking at messages that were left by people in spaces and on screens. I am mostly immersed in this digital screen space, and it's my studio. It's a place where I work, but it's also a place where I communicate. I have chat boxes popping up and they kind of integrate with what's on the screen, but then there's also a very tactile, embodied element to the kind of city spaces that surrounds my home.
Brazilian jazz maestro Tania Maria, supported by Nancy Vieira from Cape Verde, Isabella Novella from Mozambique, and South Africa's Lulu Dikana will headline the Divas in Democracy concert. It takes place at the Joburg Theatre this weekend and is part of the Johannesburg Arts Alive Festival's music program.
The idea was to bring a bunch of divas, some that were politically involved, like Tania Maria was very much involved in the apartheid struggle. And then what we've done is we've got a partnership with Machito, who they're bringing out Nancy Vieira, who's an artist from Cape Verde, and then we're bringing out an artist from Mozambique called Isabella Novella with Lulu Dikana as our support act. What's interesting about the lineup is they all speak Portuguese, obviously, except for the South African. For anybody who really wants an outrageous music experience, then you've got to see Tania Maria at least once in your life. I think this will be like the 5th time that I'll be watching Tania Maria. She's just something else. She's been performing for 50 years. And she is Brazil's jazz giant. More importantly, she's managed to popularize Brazilian music or Brazilian jazz throughout the world.
Its organizers say it attracts mavericks, fine diners, lovers of life and pleasure seekers. That's a French phenomenon, Dîner à Blanche, which returns to Joburg on the 20th of September.
It's just a pop-up dinner party under the stars in an existing city space. So it's very spontaneous and quite an exquisite experience, I'd say.
The guests all meet up at designated departure points around the city. This year we have 10 departure points. We then transport all the guests to the venue, which is a secret. They arrive at the venue where they will set up their picnics, their tables and their chairs and their flowers and candles. Everyone has to make an effort with their tables. And then they sit down to dinner and have the picnic that they've either brought along or bought at the venue, and dine on beautiful food and fantastic wine for a couple of hours. And we have a number of live performances, and the dance floor opens, and it's just a night of enjoying your family and your friends with good food, good wine, and fantastic company.
Eastern Cape Province established record label SABC Records will launch 8 of its artists' albums in Johannesburg on Friday the 12th of September. Among the artists, Ganzo, Chosen and Nosiviwe. The gig takes place at the Baseline in Newtown, Johannesburg.
It's a development record label where they get artists from different sections or sectors within the Eastern Cape just to develop the music of Eastern Cape people, because Eastern Cape is very rich in its talent, or whatever one can call it. However, everyone then moves to Johannesburg and they want to make a living in Johannesburg. But SABC then stepped in to make sure that it nurtures, it takes care of its own. Expect a variety of music. You have gospel, you have a gospel group, you've got your hip hop, you've got your kwaito, you've got your Afro pop. So there's a different variety, there's something for everyone.
The Absa Gallery, in partnership with Newtown's Assemblage Artist Studios, will host Degrees of Separation, a curated exhibition by artists who've been with Assemblage Artist Studios since its inception. That exhibition opens today at the Absa Gallery in Johannesburg.
I think the best part of Degrees of Separation is the fact that we've always been meeting and talking to each other about the work and how it works and how we are all involved and connected to one another. So, I mean, that you can't forget. Everybody's always connected somehow. I mean, sometimes an artist's life can be very lonely, and if you're with other artists, I feel like you're striving for something, marching towards something together.
I feel like these studios, a lot of people that come in, when they move out, their careers normally escalate, or they get better studios or bigger studios. So I feel like it's more like a stepping stone, and it's easier for artists to work together. So I don't know if it makes sense. So artists normally work by themselves, and when they see other artists, they just, I don't know, they work even harder and better.
Young visual artist Senzo Shabango is part of a project that's decorating Johannesburg's skyline. He's one of 2 artists whose works are displayed at the highest point of the Absa Towers in Joburg's CBD.
The project started off with an idea for Joburg Art Week, which happened for the first time this year, that runs concurrently with the FNB Joburg Art Fair. The 3 artists that were selected were chosen because they all work within the inner city. They either work with people and their culture, or they work within architecture.
To me it means a lot because it's a chance for us as artists and also for the public to see our artworks, because most of the time people, they only manage to see our work in white walls, in gallery spaces. So to me this is like a beautiful opportunity.
It means a lot to be able to see that art is elevated to an important position, so that we can see that, like commerce, it's also a very important part of the world that we live in.
In celebration of Heritage Month, the Constitution Hill opened an iconic exhibition of paintings by Mamelodi-born artist Martin Lekotoko on Thursday evening. The exhibition, which is titled Lekhai Lekai, was opened by Professor Pitikantuli.
Lekhai Lekai is a title which came out of the inspiration about my work, which is more about where we come from as a nation and where we are today and where we are going. So my works are saying to the people, where do we come from and where we are going. My works deals with attitudes relating to culture and different cultures in our community. We were so divided in the past, and I'm saying we must come back as one South African nation and as one people and as one nation. We have to take it from where our leaders has expressed themselves and has shown much interest in sacrificing their lives by going to prison.
And that's the Art Bulletin story for this weekend, coming to you from the Sands in Sandton, Johannesburg. For more information on their gigs and events, you can always tweet at the Sands011, and on Instagram and Facebook, they are the Sands Urban. We are at Morning Live SABC on Twitter, and our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za. Until next time, it's a goodbye from us.